Hi everyone, Kombat Reviewer here, and this time we're reviewing on the film Mortal Kombat. Now, I think we all know what Mortal Kombat was. It was a game originally developed by Midway Games, as well as designed by Ed Boon and John Torbus. Originally started as an arcade game, until eventually being released for the Super Nintendo, Game Gear, Game Boy, and so many things. Now, eventually, Mortal Kombat was made into a live-action movie. And we've all know that usually with live-action movies based on a fighting game, they tend to fail. But I think with Mortal Kombat, it was able to do something that I think no one could have done before. Now, the premise of the film is about Liu Kang, whose goal is pretty much to avenge his brother Qin's death at the hands of Shang Tsung. And at the same time, Shang Tsung hosts this Mortal Kombat tournament to find the best fighters. And some of the fighters have motivations for basically why they're in the tournament. Liu Kang to avenge his brother's death, Johnny Cage to prove that he isn't a joke, and Sonya to go after Kano. And I feel the actors are pretty much perfect. I know that originally with Johnny Cage, that they were originally gonna go with Jen Van Damme, but unfortunately was working on Street Fighter. And I know that Brendan Lee was gonna play Johnny Cage until his death accidentally in The Crow. And I know that Bridget Wilson actually does a decent Sonya, and she's kind of a badass chick. So at the same time of the tournament, it's pretty much following a lot of elements from the original Mortal Kombat game. And at the same time, unlike Tekken, it feels like the fighters have more personality. You get to know them a bit better. But I do admit, yeah, with Princess Katana, I kind of feel you could have had her secretly at the island, but not trying to, I don't know, be there. And I also do feel, yeah, with Kano, he's just there to be a disposable pawn by Shang Tsung. And what's actually interesting is that with Goro, you actually have him he was pretty much done as a robotic suit, and during some battle scenes would have to be filmed at some locations where it was filmed, because when the creators had to bring a lot of their hardware to certain locations, the most that were in Thailand were passable by canoes. So in other words, they couldn't risk the suit being destroyed. And what's actually interesting is Kevin Michael Richardson actually voices Goro and does a decent job. And I actually do feel that, yeah, with Christopher Lambert, I think he tries to sound like Raiden, but he sounds like he's been smoking too many cigarettes a day. And I do feel Kali Takawa does a decent job for Shang Tsung. And if you have played Mortal Kombat 11, you actually do get to play the DLC of him as what he was in Mortal Kombat years ago. So what's actually interesting is that with the ending, they do build up a big potential sequel. And I do believe that had the direction went differently, then Paul W.S. Anderson could have probably continued the way he would have wanted. Now, I actually do believe that Chen is obviously meant to be the film version to Kung Lao, given the fact that Liu Kang and Kung Lao are meant to be brothers in arms. And I do feel that certain other characters are just thrown in. For example, Art Lean, a martial arts fighter and a friend of Johnny Cage, just plays no real part, and he's just the token black guy to be used as a demonstration to how dangerous Goro is. I feel you could have had Jax to be with Sonya, and it could have worked well had things been different. And what's actually interesting is that if you are Mortal Kombat fans, you probably know Defenders of the Realm, which continued after the first film, only with a slight few modifications. Like, for example, Sub-Zero's death at the hands of Liu Kang, Shang Tsung falling into a spikeless pit, and also Sonya not killing Kano. I get it was done as a kind of potential sequel. And I do admit, yeah, with Scorpion Sub-Zero, they're meant to be mindless henchmen, opposite from what the game version was. So I do admit, it does focus more on one fighter, and I think somewhere this movie left a flawless victory. It was able to do things that I think a director should know what to do based on a fighting game, and I think the flawless victory paid through. So I think it deserves a thumbs up. Still good, and still alright. So, Comic Reviewer here, signing out.